Welcome to Unit 1. The title of our first unit is called Turning Points. This will be a 9-week unit. You'll be reading stories and doing different writings about this large topic of turning points. So before we begin this unit, the reading activities, the writing activities, let's just kind of look at this idea of turning points before we begin the unit. Start it out by just having a couple images for you to look at. Think about that idea of turning points. Have you had a turning point in your life? What is a turning point maybe in history? What's been a turning point in maybe our country? Here is the introduction from our unit, Turning Points, from StudySync, which is the platform we'll use for most of our assignments. How much of what happens in our lives do we actually control? This is a question that has concerned philosophers and writers for thousands of years. We expect events to progress in a certain way, then suddenly unexpected circumstances cause us to hesitate and reconsider the choices that confront us. Sometimes we feel like we don't have a choice at all. In this 6th grade unit, you'll explore life-changing events from a variety of perspectives as you read fiction, memoirs, nonfiction narratives, articles, autobiographies, and poetry. You will read an excerpt from the Newbery Award-winning novel Hatchet, which gives insight into a 13-year-old boy's state of mind when he is stranded in the wilderness with only a tattered windbreaker and the hatchet his mother has given him as a gift. Other selections include accounts of the struggles real people have faced, including Melba Beal's experience as a key figure in the fight for school integration, Jackie Robinson's rise to baseball fame when he enters the major leagues and becomes the first African American player to break through the color barrier. Throughout this unit, you'll explore how fictional characters and real people adapt and succeed when life suddenly changes direction. Next, let's take a look at this video here. Maybe you recognize this guy, Dwayne Johnson. He's going to talk about a turning point in his life.
When I was 16 years old, that was the last time that I was arrested. And at that time, we were at an all-time low, I think, with our family. And at that time, we were living in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. And I am already a pretty big boy, 6'4", 200 and maybe 20, 25 pounds. I had a very bad mustache. I had a chip on my shoulder. Fresh into this high school in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, Freedom High School. I wanted to use the bathroom, but I didn't want to use the regular boys' bathroom because the boys' bathroom smelled like smoke and all the other fun stuff that boys' bathrooms smell like. So I'd go into the teacher's lounge and a teacher comes in. His name is Jody Swick. Tough guy. He says, "Hey, you can't be in here." I kind of pause, look over my shoulder. Okay, I'll leave when I'm done. And I continue to wash my hands. I slowly dry my hands and I walk by him and I kind of just looked at him. I walked by, he looked at me, didn't say a word, but he was fuming. I went home that night and I felt bad. I just felt bad. Very next day, I found him and I went to see him in his class and I said, I just want to apologize for how I acted yesterday and I'm sorry. And I stuck my hand out and he looked at my hand and looked at me, looked at my hand again. He shook my hand. I'll never forget that shake. He wouldn't let it go. He said, "I want you to do something for me." "Yes." "I want you to come out and play football for me." I said, "Okay." He said, "All right. Have your word?" "Yeah, sure. You got my word." I didn't think much of it. I thought, okay, yeah, play some football. Like playing football? Sure. Cool. And I went out and I played football for Jody Swick, and he was our head football coach, and he became a father figure to me and a mentor. I fell in love with the game of football. My grades got better, and I started getting recruited from every college across the country. College coaches would come in. You say, "There he is, Dwayne Johnson, 6'4", 250. Plays both sides of the ball. Very aggressive. my thought process started to change. That's when I started thinking about goals and what I wanted to accomplish. And I love that man. I'll never forget the impact that he had in my life. And the reminder and my takeaway from that amazing relationship that I had was the empathy that he had for a punk kid who treated him so rudely and disrespectfully. He looked past that BS and said, I believe in you and I want to turn you around. Oftentimes when I see kids and they have been labeled, oh, they're punk kids. True. But there's good in them, and we got to see that potential. And I enjoy that today, seeing the potential in kids, just like he did, especially kids who are kind of wayward and have been going through it. I know what it's like. So thank you, Jody. Thank you, buddy.
Here's a couple more quotes we'd like you to think about before beginning this unit. Every moment that changes your life changes who you are. And the second one, at any given moment, you have the power to say, this is not how the story is going to end. What do you think? Could this year be a turning point for you? Lastly, just going to show you the introduction video from StudySync. You'll be learning a lot about StudySync, how to use StudySync, but here's the introduction from StudySync for Unit 1, Turning Points.
Challenges arise. Choices are made. A plane crashes and a boy fights for survival. A family leaves a daughter alone on an island. A Chinese immigrant's biplane tumbles to the earth. Turning points. What happens as ambitions soar like a kite? A writer is born. A scientist focuses a microscope. An African American takes the field at Yankee Stadium. Roads less traveled. More trials. A teenager faces discrimination at a Little Rock high school. A girl of 11 struggles with coming of age. A blind woman is on the verge of despair. What will they do at their crossroads? What happens when life changes direction?